Okay, so on this example, I'm going to show you how to do linear regression. So first you need to get these numbers on number 18 in your calculator. So you're going to hit the stat button on your calculator. So stat, and it's going to look like this. Edit should be highlighted, and you're going to hit enter. So go to stat, edit. Then if you've got numbers in there, then go up to L1 to the heading, hit clear and enter, and that will clear your whole row. So we want to enter the bat speed in L1. So we're going to do 40, enter, 45, enter, and so on. 60, 70, 75, and 80. Then we're going to go over to L2, 200, 213, 242, 275, 297, 326, 335. Then make sure that at least your last one lines up with your last one. It's easy sometimes to get off as you're going through your list. So if your first one matches what it's supposed to be and your last one matches, then you're probably okay. So I've got 40 and 200, and then at the bottom I've got 80 and 335. Okay, so now we want to plot these points. So you're going to do second quit. Second quit always takes you out of whatever screen you're in and takes you back to the home screen. We're going to hit window. The window tells us what we're going to graph. So right now, the standard window is -10 to 10 on the X and the Y axis. Hit window.
No, before that.
Second quit.
Do you want us to change it to -10?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, so we need to be able to see these X values. I don't like to start at like 35. I like to have 0. Like we're gonna look at an X axis. So I would keep my X min at 10, but my X max could be 100 because I need to show 80. My X's need to show 40 to 80. So I want my X min to be -10 or something like that. I need my X max maybe to be 100. The X scale is how often it's going to show a mark on the X axis. So I don't need it to show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put 20 there. And then if you hit, well, we don't have anything to graph yet, so let's just keep going. So Y min, let's look at the Y values. The Y values need to show at least 200 to 335. I, again, like to start with a negative number. I don't like to just show a portion of the first quadrant. I want to see the whole thing. So I'm going to have my X min be at maybe -100 and then go to 500. And I want my scale to be 100. So my Y axis is going to go 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Okay? So that's what you want your window to look like for this example.
What is the XRES?
It has to do with resolution. I always just leave it at 1. Just leave it. Okay? So now we need to tell it to graph our points. If you go to Y equals, you probably have nothing in those equations. Okay? That's where you would graph a line. If you go to Y equals, you type a line in there and it would graph it, or a parabola or whatever. But we don't have anything in there, and you shouldn't have anything in there. So if there is anything left in there, hit clear. Okay? But if you hit graph, it's not going to graph anything. So we have to tell it to graph the points that we entered in our table. So instead of Y equals, we're going to hit the stat plot, which is above it. So you have to do second stat plot. And so it's got all these little plots, like these little programs, and they're all off. So hit enter, like I'm highlighted on number 1. So I'm going to hit enter while I'm on number 1 and see it's off, but it's blinking on. So hit enter again. That's going to turn it on. Then we can pick what type of graph we want. We could do a bar graph. Okay, there's a bar graph. We could do a box and whiskers. We could do lots of different things. So the first one is a scatter plot. That's what we want. We just want ordered pairs. And then it says the X is going to come from L1 and the Y is going to come from L2. That's your default. And that's where we put our numbers. If you had a bunch of data and you wanted to plot L2 versus L5, you could tell it to in here. Like this is where you tell it what you want your x-axis to be and your y-axis. The mark is just the shape that it makes, so I'm going to leave it on the little square. You could change it to the plus sign or the little dot. Now that you have all that set, hit graph. And it's going to plot those points. So those are just the ordered pairs. Okay, make sure everybody's got that. So second, stat plot on, and then graph. Yeah, it's awesome. There's so much these calculators will do that I haven't taught you yet. And then I will teach it to you for the final for shortcuts. But on the chapter test, I want you to do the algebra. But there's a lot of stuff your calculator will do for you. Okay? Okay, so let's say we want the line of best fit that goes through that. Like we could pick any two ordered pairs and draw the perfect line that goes through those two ordered pairs, but we want the best line that goes through all of them, that goes through most of them. So we're not going to do that by hand. We're going to have the calculator do that. So hit stat, and then go over to calculate, and then go down to number 4, which is linear regression. We could do all kinds of, regression is when you make the equation. Okay, so linear regression is when you make the line equation. Quadratic regression is when you make the parabola equation. Cubic regression is when you make the cubic regression, like an x cubed graph, okay? So you hit that. Yes, Lisa. Hit the stat, and then you go over. Like at the top edit, there's 3 different menus within stat. So hit calculate. And then go down to number 4, linear regression, and hit enter. And then it's going to take you to that screen. Let me clear, because I did it twice. Stat, calculate, and you can even type the number 4, and it says linear regression, and it's blinking there. So you're just going to hit enter, and it will do it for you, okay? It's saying that y is equal to ax plus b when a is 3.41 and b is 65. So that means your equation is y equals 3.4x plus 65. Okay, now I'll show you something cool. Go to y equals. Now, see how plot 1, when I hit y equals, plot 1 is highlighted? That means I have a stat plot turned on. Sometimes when you go to y equals and you want to graph a line, you get an error because your plot 1 is on. You can go up to it, so you're blinking on it, and hit enter, and then go down and you've turned it off. So now if you hit graph, it doesn't plot those points. So y equals, go up to plot 1, hit enter, and then go